Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 233. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make each of the 7 chords of a key. So each key has 7 chords, 7 diatonic chords in it. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that here. And I'll give you a little example here of just some of the chords in a key of C, for instance. So we have C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C again. Sounds like the major scale. Oops. Which is basically what it is. It's the major scale in harmony. You have a root, you have a third, and you have a fifth in there. So what we have going on here, let me show you a little information here, and let's talk about this. What is a key? Well, first of all, a key is all the chords that make up the diatonic key, and it's all the chords within one scale. So say in C major, so say you're in the key of C, there are 7 chords in that key. Same thing with any other key. There's 7 diatonic chords, and it's made up of the major scale. Like in the key of C, C major scale, it's a solfege, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You could do that in any key, but today we're doing it in C. So that is a key right there. So let's switch over to here. I want to show you something. This graph right here. And hopefully it's not confusing at all. But we're going to create chords by looking at half steps and whole steps. And what we have here is a chord is basically just a series of half steps and whole steps. But let's just understand what the half steps and whole steps are first before we go any further. So this chart shows you that there are 12 notes in the musical world, right? At least here in the western part of the world. In the eastern, they break it up a little bit more, a little differently over there in the far east. So if we were to look at, just say, the A string here, right? You can go up, it's a chromatic scale where you can go up in half steps. Those are half steps, and there's 12 half steps, 12 notes in the chromatic scale. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, A sharp, G sharp, and then back to A again, right there. So, knowing that, you have what's called a half step and a whole step here. So a half step is just one fret, as you can see indicated on the graph right there. Half step from A, open A, to A sharp, just a half step up again to B, half step. So these are all just half steps, which are just a fret apart. Okay, and they're also referred to as semitones. Okay, so then if you go over to a whole step, if you see the graph on the top, it's a larger jump, and it goes up, say, from A to B, and then from B to C sharp. So you're moving up 2 half steps. And a whole step is also referred to as a step or a semitone. So if someone says a step, that's going to be a whole step right there, not a half step, not a semitone. So everything is made up of half steps and whole steps. A half step from A to A sharp, a whole step from A to B, like that. So the C major scale is, it's a series of half steps and whole steps right there. And, just so you know, when you're going up this chromatic scale from A to A again, once you get to the 12th fret, it all starts all over again. So you have A all the way up to A again. Up there. So it just everything just repeats over and over. It kind of revolves and rotates around and around and around. And also, one thing to consider on this is the enharmonics. As you'll see that there's only sharps here. Because we're going up, we're counting them all as sharps because we're raising everything. You have an A sharp, B. If we were going down, we could say B flat, A. So really, every time you have a sharp there, it's called an enharmonic. And what an enharmonic is it's the same notes, but it has two different names to it. So an A sharp right here is the same thing as B flat. When you go up to C sharp here, so you have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D flat, D. But if you're going down from D, you can call that a D flat as well. So this C sharp and this D flat, same exact note. It really depends on the context of the scale you're getting into. So all of these sharps are also flats of the note going above it. So if we continue, you got D sharp, E. Well, if you went down, it would be E flat. So the D sharp and E flat, same exact note. E. All right, I should have mentioned that when we were down here at B to C, and E to F are the only notes that don't have a flat or sharp between them, as you can see. So if you were up on F and you went down, you're just going to be an E right there. Or the same thing with C. If you went down, you're going to be C to B. You go up B to C, E to F right there. So if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I go live every week right here. This is getting juicy. It's getting good. We're having some fun here. So F, then you have F sharp, G, or the F sharp, G. If you went down from G, it would be a G flat right there. We have F sharp, G, G sharp, A, or A flat if you went down. So all of those sharp notes are also flat notes from the note above it. So B would be B flats. The C sharp, the A sharp could be a B flat. The C sharp could be a D flat. The D sharp could be an E flat. The F sharp could be a G flat. The G sharp could be an A flat. All depends. They're all just chromatic notes going all the way up from A to A right there. All right. So hopefully you're enjoying this so far. We're going to continue along right here in a second. But first, I need a sip of my coffee here. I was kind of rushed getting into this live here today. I woke up at 7 a.m. Eastern time here in Brooklyn, and I still wasn't ready by the time 12 came around. So I was making these charts, and I have some really cool charts and graphs coming up I'm going to show you. If you want them, just email me at info@jerrycherry, and I'll shoot those right over to you. What are you drinking out there? I've got my Italian espresso beans in my Cherry cup. What else would you want to do here on a Sunday? When the world is going crazy, we could still play guitar. That's all I'm going to say about that. So let's go back over to here. And now we're going to create the major scale. Because from the major scale, that's how we're going to build all of our chords. 7 chords in a key. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is going to be really, 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 really fun. I think you're going to love this right here. And okay. So let's close this. Let me show you something here real quick. So here's the C major scale. Forget about the chord names, but we have the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. There's no sharps, no flats. It just is what it is right there. So those notes make up the C major scale, and they also make up 7 chords, as you could see. The C is the 1 chord. D minor is the 2 chord. As you can see, those Roman numerals before them are the numbers of the chords, or the like the Nashville system, if you want to give Nashville the credit for this, although this system goes way, way back, apparently, to Bach, the Bach days. And so it's also just the order of the notes here. So you get C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and a B diminished. Now, in a key, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are always major, okay, in a standard diatonic key. And you have the 2, the 3, and the 6 chord, which are always minor in the standard diatonic key, okay? Just like right here, like we played earlier, the C, major chord, we go up to F, the 4 chord is major, the 5, G is major. Okay, those are the 3 major chords. If you go to D minor, minor chord, E minor, minor, and go up to A, is minor. We're going to hold off on that seventh chord, which is a B diminished, but it's right here, because it's a little bit different than the regular triads. And we're working off triad chords today, just the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. So we're not going to leave out the B diminished because it's there and it's important right there. Sounds like this. Right there. All right. So what we have here is the major scale and the 7 chords. Now I want to go back here to this chart right here. Now, we know all those notes right there, because that's all the notes in the world right there. At least, like I said, here on the western hemisphere, or the western part of the globe. You know, the reason I keep referring to that is because in the Far East, they may have quarter tones as well. Not may, they do. So not only are they have a chromatic scale, but they'll go in between the semitones there too, which is pretty crazy, pretty intense. So, but this is our world, this is our scale right here. And if we look at the C note right there, we know that we want to build a chord, and we know how we're going to do it right now. We're going to take the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. So if just by looking at that scale, we got to know that I already know that the C major scale's a C, an E, and a G. And that's because you're skipping a note each time you go ahead and do that. Like if you just briefly look at this scale, the C, D, E, you know, that's just the order of the alphabet right there. And the musical alphabet is A through G, and it rotates around and around. It ends right there. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then A, B, C, D, F, G, and it goes around and around and around. So starting on C, we're continuing with that. We have C, D, E. So to build a chord, you're skipping one note each time. So you have C, skip the D, you have an E. Skip the F, you have a G. So going back here to this chromatic scale, if we want to go from C to E, it's going to be how many half steps is that? We have C to C sharp, that's 1. C sharp to D is 2. C sharp to D sharp is 3. And D sharp to E is 4. So 4 half steps in the chromatic scale give you your 3rd of C major. So if we look at this, check this out. If we look from C, 4 half steps up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So check it out. We have a C, then an E. So it's always going to be that way. You're always going to have that that look right there. No, we'll go back to here. Okay, so you're always going to have that 1, 2, 3, 4. That's from C to E. Okay, so we have the third right there. So if we want to build the fifth, how many half steps are off the third? So if you look at the E, E to F is 1, F to F sharp is 2, F sharp to G is 3. So you have 3 half steps off of the third to the fifth. So it's like this. E, go up 3, so 1, 2, 3. And you have G. So now that makes your chord C, E, G. And there's your beautiful C chord right there. Right? Makes a lot of sense, right? It is. The C chord that we all know and love right here. That's all it's made up of. Looking at this chromatic scale right here, you have the C notes. Take the C, you go up 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're building the third. Then you go up another 3, 1, 2, 3, and you have the fifth. So as you can look at this closer up right here, you'll see that from C to E is the major third, but we're going to play a chord, so I'm going to play that E note on the D string right here instead of playing it here. So I can't play a chord on one string, right? So I'm going to play that chord right here. So that's the shape of a third. It's also 4 semitones away, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is, good to know. And we'll get to why a little bit more on there. Just good to know how far away your intervals are as far as steps go. Okay? Now, if you look at the distance between the third and the fifth, the G, that's actually a minor third away. Because it looks like this. So really, your chord, your regular C triad chord, is 2 chords built together. A C chord and an E minor chord. That's an E minor. It's right in the middle of your C chord. And an E minor. But together, they build a triad of an E chord. So, if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We got my friend here in the chat. Hello, Jeffrey Boyle. Let me give you a round of applause. How you doing today? We're having some fun learning the formula of the major scale, which is going to give us all of our chords in a key. And, I get a lot of questions about this. Let's see. There was one comment that I got, which was, I'll just read it to you. It was, it made a lot of sense, and that's why I'm making this video right here. Let me just see where it was. It was, okay, it was something like this. You just skipped out the part where you show how to make each chord, which explains why 2, 3, and 4 are minor, whilst 1, 4, and 5 are major, and 7 is diminished. That's the real lesson. Okay, I didn't write down what this person's name was because I forgot. I should have, but I'll give him credit for mentioning it. It's a great question. And whilst this person wanted this information in my video, whilst it was only a 60-second clip. It was a short, YouTube short, or a vertical reel. And it's like, you can't put everything in one 60-second video. I think the video was on the 7 chords of the diatonic key, which I talk about a lot. And I didn't really get into the minutia, so to speak, because there's only so much you could put in one video. But in here, we're going to break it down. We're getting real narrow on this, on half steps. You almost can't get any narrower. unless you live over in the Middle East and where you have quarter tones there, where there's not just a half step right there. There's like 2 notes in between a half step, at least, right there. Or if you're just way out of tune, you know, we could talk about that as well. So, some guy, give you a round of applause. We're going to talk about some minutia whilst we talk about half steps and whole steps too. So a few words I don't really use too often here today, but we're using them today. Really, really cool. So check this out. Now, I made a few charts and graphs here today. If you want these, just email me at info@cherry. I'll shoot them over to you. But what I showed you here is the major scale. But now check this out. This is what we did. We built the chord, the C major chord. Right? I mean, C, E, and G. Really cool. And that's in this here C position. We could play it up here too. Right? Is that in tune? Close enough for rock and roll? Let me use a tuner for you. I have to make it sharp a little. That's just the way the guitar is. Right? But we're going to go with the tuner. We're going to trust the tuner. Nope. Right there. Close enough. Okay. So there you have your C. C, E, and G. There you go. C, E, and G, right there. Same thing down here. C, E, and G, or up here, C, E, and G. Really doesn't matter where you're doing it. You could be up here. You have your just versions of the C chord. Up here, C, C here, C right there, C right there. You know. I mean, it's all over the place. It's still a C chord right there. And that's what we're looking at right there. And that's how we built that, the C, E, and G. Now, going back to the question is, tell us a chubby checker story. Okay, towards the end of the video, I'll do it. I'll give you a good one. Thanks, Jeffrey. So, going back here to this, we're going to build the 2 chord. Now, why? That's really the question. Why is the 2, the 3, and the 6 minor? And why is the 1, 4, and the 5 major? Well, it all comes down to these, like, I didn't make this up. You didn't make this up. It is what it is right here. It comes down to this formula and this chromatic scale. If you look at the C note, we figured out that the major chord is 4 half steps away. C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Okay? Well, starting on the D notes, okay, if the major scale is 4 half steps away, well, the minor is going to be 3 half steps away. So D, D sharp is 1, E is 2, F. From D to F is the 3rd. Okay, if you look at this chart right here, okay, we got this next one. Those are the chords. Those are the notes of the D minor. Because really the simplest way to think about this and to look at it is you know the notes of the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. We're skipping a note each time to build a chord. Stacking thirds. So D, skip the E, go to F. F, skip the G, go to A. That makes your D, F, and A notes right there. And the way we made that is the same as how we made the major chord. D to F is 3 half steps, and F to G is going to be 3. 1, 2. Actually, F to D to F, F, G, no, F, G, A, right there. So D, E, F, okay, so F, so you got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, so it's a little bit different going from the minor third to the fifth. There's 4, so it reversed the roles. And that's what's cool about analyzing this and breaking it down. From the C to the E was 4 half steps. Okay, and then from the E to the G, which make up the C chord, is 3. So the roles were reversed going to the next 2 chords, the 2 chord. So the D to the E is 3, and then the F. So because it's narrower, it's going to be wider going from the 3rd to the 5th, right there. And I'll show you right here on this camera. As you can see, going from the C to the E, it's wide. It's 2 steps, 2 tones, or 2 whole steps, whatever it is, right? A major third. Then you have from the 3rd to the 5th, a minor third, which is this shape. You have 1, 2, 3 half steps up, so you have the full. But starting on the D, if you want to go to the D, then you have the F, and then an A, you have this chord, D minor. The roles reverse right here, because now you have 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, going from D to F. Then you have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, going from F to A. So look at the width of here. You have a major third right here. So the minor chord consists of a minor third to the 3rd, and then the 3rd to the 5th is a major third. So it reversed. So now you have a minor chord and a major chord. So note that. It's pretty cool. In the C chord, you have a major triad, and a minor triad. In the D chord, you have a minor triad and a major triad. Or the same thing up here. You have a major triad and a minor triad. In the D minor, you have a minor triad and a major triad. So these chords have 2 chords. So this regular C chord is really 2 chords. A C dyad and an E minor triad. The same thing with the 2 chord, D minor. D minor triad, and it has an F chord. So there's a nice relationship between there. That's how these chords are related. So if I play D minor, you could actually still play F. You know? To the D. And to D. To the F. That was a wrong note. D minor. And to C. All right. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. I think we're getting somewhere. Jeffrey Boyle, some guy. You must be busy. I haven't seen you in a while. All right. I commented that an outfit was brown and they lost it. All right. Don't understand quite what you guys are talking about, but that's all right. Let's see. Let me give you guys a round of applause for hanging out with me here on a Sunday. What else would you rather do on a Sunday? You didn't let me know what you're drinking up there. I'm getting to the end of my coffee, so that's pretty depressing. But it's only my first cup, and plenty more day to go. Get my cortado somewhere, one of my favorite cafes here in Brooklyn, New York. There's no shortage of cafes now. Wow. Let's tune that guitar. There we go. It's nicer. Right? Still a little sharp, huh? What's these temperatures today with my air conditioning's on because it's hot outside? It's put me out of tune. But that's okay. A little flat with that. Here we go. So I want you to go. Gotta cheat a little bit right there. Alright, close enough for rock and roll. Right there. So, Community New Orleans Dark Roast you're drinking. Ah, some guy. That sounds delicious. New Orleans. Gotta try that. Community New Orleans Dark Roast. Alright. I love it. Alright, so now check this out. Let's go back over to here, to this cam, and let me show you the third chord. E minor. E minor. Well, how's that E minor built? Well, just like any other chord, the 3 chord, we're taking the E, we're going to skip the F to G. That's the third, because it's 3. E is now the 1 of the 3 chord, right? So E to F, and then, E, skipping the F, going to G, G, skip the A, go to B. So E, G, and B is your chord. It's a minor chord. E minor. Now, why is that E minor? Well, we just figured that out because it's just numbers. C, D, E, F, G. I mean, I'm trying to make this as clear as possible here. And the C major scale is just C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And to build chords, you're just skipping one note. You're stacking thirds. Okay, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. If we start on the third note, E, right there, and we skip F, go to G, we have the root, the third. If we skip A and go to B, we have the root, third, and fifth. We can break this down even more by going to this chromatic scale right here. If we look at E, we want to go to G, it's the same thing as what D minor was now. So E, F, F sharp, G, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 half steps going to the third. That means it's minor. Then if we want to go from G to B, we have G, A sharp, B. And it's a minor third right there. No, I'm sorry. We have E, F, G, G, A, B. So G, you have G sharp, A sharp, and B. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 steps right there. And it looks just like this on the guitar. E, 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, to G, which is a minor third, Then you have 4 whole steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the 5th. So it's just like the D minor chord, but starting on E. 1, 2, 3 gives you the minor third. And then from G to B, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a minor triad and a major triad put together, E and G. Just like the C, just like the D minor, just like the E. So that's why it is a minor chord right there. So it's all based on this formula of half steps and whole steps. It also looks like this in this position. Just like here or here. There you have that. All right. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far. Let me know. Hit that like button if you are. Jeffrey Boyle's got a double espresso kicking. Sounds amazing. Love me some espresso. My drink's a cortado. When I go into the cafes, I'm like, cortado, maybe some skim milk instead of whole milk, or fat-free, 2%. Works for me. Get my cholesterol levels down. Which have been working. Like, I'm like a medical marvel. My cholesterol levels dropped like 40 points within 6 months. Don't ask me how. I did change my diet. It was growing and growing and getting higher and higher for years. And then in 6 months, it just went, dropped down, which maybe it was just the blood work was screwed up. Maybe when the doctor read me my results back, he was reading the guy before me's results. Who knows? You know how doctors are these days. Hello, 314. J-Rock. Good to see you. Give you a round of applause. All right. Thanks for spending some time with me here on a Sunday. And so, yeah. So going back over to here, we have the chromatic scale right there. And we built the E minor chord. A lot of people ask me, why is 1, 4, and 5 major? And why is 2, 3, and 6 minor? It's really just the way this formula works out right here. You know, to build a chord, we're just skipping notes, starting on that C note, which is not a $100 bill in this case. The C note, I skip the D. That first row is like the Nashville system from top to bottom on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The second row is the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and it's also the names of the chords in the key: C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. We're just talking triads here: root, third, fifth. Now, where I'm getting at on this third row is that's going to be the third degree, and then the fourth row and final row is the fifth. The fifth. I'm not going to say perfect fifth. So far, it's perfect. When we get to that diminished, it won't be so perfect. So that's where we're at here so far in a summary. And then we use the chromatic scale to figure out in steps. And the one conclusion that we've come to so far is that the major interval is 4 half steps away from the roots. And the minor interval is 3 half steps away from the root. Okay, we broke that down pretty easily right here when we looked at the C right here. You have 4 steps up, 1, 2, 3, not 4 steps, 4 half steps up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes the major triad. And from the third to the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting the note. I'm going up. 1, 2, 3. So remember that. It's 4 half steps away. I'm dealing with 4 frets, but it's really 3 half steps up. 1, 2, 3, which makes a minor triad right there off of this E. So this C note, the C chord, has a C major and an E minor. Now we've done 2 other chords so far. We did the D minor and the E minor. And the roles were kind of reversed because when you go from the D to the minor third, which is an F, that's 3 half steps up. So a perfect fifth, the fifth is always going to be the same, but we're compensating because now the fifth is going to be 4 half steps up. Like when we did the C, it was here. But from the third to the fifth here, because the fifth is the same for most of the chords except for the final one. So see the distance between these chords? See, these fifths, these power chords, they call it a power 5, like a C5 or D5. They're like perfect. Except we get to that B, it's a diminished, and then C. They sound good with distortion, everything. Those are 5 chords, power chords right there. Sorry if it scared you. I don't know how loud that was. It was a little bit loud. Okay. So that's where we're at with that, with the E minor. We built that 3 chord. We built that 3 chord right there. Or up here. And these are just diatonic notes. Nothing's different. I'm playing C major scale. And there's no weird notes in there. It's all the same notes, just a C major scale. C major scale. D. Play the C major scale starting on the D. D minor. Otherwise referred to the Dorian mode too. Back to C. Back E minor. Here's the E minor triad. Play the C major scale. Otherwise referred to as Phrygian. It's only a Phrygian mode if the bass is playing an E. If the bass is playing an E and you're playing an E minor chord, and you play the C major scale, it's a Phrygian mode. How fast can go from sad, from weird to happy. Same notes. Chord. Okay. So that's how we did that. Sorry, I digressed for a minute, but we're talking about something different. Modes, but it's, it goes hand in hand right there. Hand in hand. It's the same exact thing. Same concept right here. So now looking at the 4 chord, it changes a little bit right there. Because now we're building the 4. So if we keep going with the F, note the 4 chord, F, going down there. So we're going to skip the G. We're going to A. So that's going to be the 3rd. And always remember, like the 4 chord, the F, even though it's the 4 of C, it's really thinking of it's a new thing now. Because the F, all the chords have a root, a 3rd, and a 5th. So we're looking at the F as its own thing. So within itself, within the 4 chord, the F is the 1 of itself, right? So now we skip the G, we go to A. That's going to be the 3rd. Because the G would actually be 2. So the G is the A is the 3rd. Skip B again and go to C. We're just revolving, rotating around. And excuse me. We're going to C again. So the F chord is made up of F, A, and C. And looking at it just like we did this C chord, it's the same thing. Now we know that F to A is going to be, let's see, F sharp is 1 half step, G makes 2 half steps, G sharp is going to be 3 half steps, and A. So a major interval from F, just like the C. You're going to go up 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Like that. Just like we did from C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the space and the distance. And that's good to know too. That's the space and distance between a major 3rd. Same thing here in C. We went to D. Here's the space between a minor. It's always going to look like that. Minor 3rd is going to look like this. You know, minor 3rd looks like that. From E minor, looks like this. C, looks like this. Comes in handy if you want to visualize things. If you ever want to tap, you know, you see like here's the root, the 3rd, and you know that here's a chord. Try it. So I'm visualizing. Here's a C, major 3rd, and the 5th. Did something like that if I went from major to minor. Because I know the shapes right there are from E. Just went up from the D minor to the E minor. Same thing. So I'm picturing here's the root, the minor 3rd, and the 5th. I'm not turning this into a tapping lesson, but a lot of tapping is just triads. So I just went up to the E minor. Just like that. Pretty neat, huh? D. And we didn't figure out what going from the 3rd to the 5th was. So we did the F to the A. Now we have to go from the A to the C. And we know that already. If you go A sharp is 1 half step, B is a 2nd half step, C is a 3rd half step right there. Right? So A, 1 half step, 2 half step, 3. So we know it's an F, an A, and a C. And there's just your F chord right there. Looks just like the C chord. It's like a C shape too. And we could play it up here like this. So now we have 4 chords here of C, D minor, E minor, F. It's starting to sound like the major scale, like going up, right? In harmony. We continue. And the full chord. But we're only here on the 4th chord so far. Sounds like a song. Which song is that? All right. We're having a good time here. We're learning some music. Hopefully enjoying this so far. If you already hit that like button. Any questions, let me know. We'll be here for a little bit today, hanging out. So we're almost done with getting through this part of the exercise here. So we figured out that chord right there. So now what if we close that out and we go to the G chord? Okay, well, it's the same concept. How do we figure out the 5 chord? Why is the 5 chord major? Well, take that G, skipping a note. G is now the 1 of itself, right? G. Skip the A, go to B. So now we know the third of G is B. Keep going around, skip the C and go to D. So those are our 3 notes. And we're only dealing with 7 notes in this key of C. That's why it's real simple. But really, it's the same as every key. The only thing that makes any other key slightly complicated is that they may have the enharmonics. Or not enharmonics. They may have a sharp or flat symbol. Okay? And, yeah. Accidental. That's what it's called. It's called an accidental. But an enharmonic is an accidental. Whether it's a sharp or flat, that's what it is. Enharmonic is the same note with a different name. Okay. So really, G is going to be a G, a B, and a D. And it's the same exact formula as any other major chord, looking at this right here. So if we looked at the G note chromatically, if you want any of these graphs I'm building, I'll put together a PDF of this as well as the chord diagrams that I made as well. So G, skip G, no, skip it. G sharp is 1 half step, A is the 2nd half step, A sharp is the 3rd half step, B is the 4th half step. And that's your major triad right there. Just like we've been doing so far. You have the G right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's your B. Same thing as the F. Same thing as the C. Right? All the same. So the 3 major chords are 3 major triads like here. Now, if we continue on going from B to E, we have, the D, the 3rd to the 5th. D would be that. So if B to C is 1 half step, C sharp, 2nd half step, D. Just like that. So from B to D is 1, 2, 3 half steps away. So really, so far with these 5 chords so far, C, D minor, E minor, F, and G, they're pretty much the same looking, right? I mean, look. This is the same, since it's an open G, as here, as the F. Right? How many songs do that right there? What's cool, is that in the 2 minors, like this, 2 minor chords, like that, D, just a little bit different, so like reversed. So the C right here has a major 3rd and then a minor 3rd. The D, the minor chords have a minor 3rd and then a major 3rd put together. And then back to F, which is a major 3rd, minor 3rd. Just like that. Pretty cool. And then, let's go back to here. Skip out of that. Let's go to A minor, the 6th chord. Just like the 2 and the 3, the 6 is a minor chord in the key as well. Because we're going down here, revolving around the notes of the C major scale. A, skip the B, go to C. So now the A is the root of A minor, C is the 3rd, skip the D, go to E. A, C, E. Then you look over here at this chart right here. You go from A sharp is a half step, B sharp is a second half step, C, third half step. So you know it's there's the minor interval right there in half steps, 3. Just like that. So from A, let's just do it open. A, half step, half step, half step. So here's your C. Or even up here. A, half step, C. Right there, so. And there it is. There's that shape again, that minor shape. So when you're dealing from one string to the next, going up, especially down here in the first 4 strings, it's going to change when you go from the 4th to the 5th string because of the tuning. But this shape right here, that's always going to be a major look. When you go down one string, or up one string here, and then down 1 fret, that's major. As you can see, this one right here is up 1 string and then down 2, that's minor. So the major shapes all look like this, and the minor look like that. See that, the minor, E minor. Then I got the major again, F, major, major, look just like this. Back to the minor, A minor, look, same thing. So, you know, it's just about memory, muscle memory, remembering these shapes. You know. Do licks like that. It's just a matter of it's just noodling around through the chord shapes. I mean, look, anyone can memorize that. It's not rocket science, really, right? But it's just, look, the narrow ones here, the major shape, and it gets minor looking. The minor right here. Hopefully you understand that and get that. I mean, it's very simple stuff, but somebody's going to see this and go, oh my God, I never realized that. Never thought of that before. Okay. So there's one more coming up, and I'm hopefully you're enjoying this and digging it so far. And get that double espresso. There's a cortado with my name on it somewhere around town here. And I went out last night to the Bitter End in New York City, and I saw one of my favorite guitar players, David, I always butcher his last name, Italian, right out of Italy, David Panozzo, I believe it is. David Panozzo, really great guitar player. If you ever get a chance, check him out online. David Panozzo, I believe it is. Played the Bitter End last night. Great trio that he played, and it's really fantastic. And the Bitter End's such a great place. Lots of great guitar players play there on a regular basis. I've played there for years, like through the years. Not so often, but looking to get back there and get a live gig in New York, in the Greenwich, good old Greenwich Village right there, right? So maybe I'll do an instructional thing like this there live at the Bitter End. I'm just kidding. So there's one more. Here's where it gets a little strange with the chart here. We'll go over here to the last chord, and it's the B diminished. And why is it strange, and why is it diminished? Well, I didn't make this stuff up. You didn't make this stuff up. It's just the way it worked out. If we do the rotating thing, starting at B, B is the 7th note, 7th and final note of the scale, but it's the first within itself. It's its own thing. So we're going to skip the C, go to D. That makes the 3rd of it. Now we're going to skip the E, go to F. Goes to F. So that chord, B, D, and F. Now, when we go back here to this chromatic chart right here, we'll see why it's weird. Let's see. Why is it weird? So let's start from the B. We know we're going to a D. We have a C as the first half step, C sharp is the second half step, D. So it's a minor dyad, or minor third right there, because it's only three half steps to the D. Now, what gets weird as well is, let's just keep doing what we're doing here. I'm going to just continue on here. So B, 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. That's the minor third. Or up here. 1, 2, 3. You have that minor, just like the A was, just like the D, just like the E, just like the A. It's a minor, but it's diminished, and I'll show you here why. Because the next note is an F. Let's see. So now from D to F, what do we have? D, we have D sharp, E, F. Guess what? This is the first minor chord where we counted only 3 half steps away from the third. If you recall, all the other ones were 4. It was a major third away from the minor third to the 5th. This one has only a minor third away from the third. So D sharp is 1, E is 2, F is 3. So what happens when you have 3 half steps away from the B here? Check it out. I mean from the D. 3 half steps away from the D. You have 1, 2, 3. You have the F note. So you have 2 minor thirds together. That's a diminished chord. So all the rest of them had all the rest of the minor chords had looked like this, right? But there's no F sharp in C. You have to go with the notes that are in the diatonic chord. So based on that formula, because a 5th from B is F, it makes this chord. And that's why you have the diminished chord in every key. Doesn't matter what key you're in, it could be any key. So in the key of C, C, D, E, and F right there. And that's how it makes up that chord right there. Like we're not making this stuff, it's just basic math right here. And B, C, D, D, E, F. Based on these notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, your 5th of B is a diminished right there. That's why it is diminished sounding. And that's why it sounds like that. It doesn't sound like this. If it did, the major scale would sound like this. Actually, it would change up completely because every F would now be an F sharp, you know? Just like this would be, it would make D major, first of all. You know? So right now you'd be in the key of G because you're adding 1 sharp, F, key of G. So that's just one way of looking at it, but that's why it sounds like this. Oops. Oops, sorry, messing up. Starting on C. Hopefully you get that. Hopefully you can understand that and all is good in the hood. That is my breakdown of how to build 7 chords of the key using half steps, whole steps, intervals, understanding intervals, and so how to make each of the 7 chords of the key. And that's what we did. So I lived up to my obligation here today. And all right, so if you're enjoying this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Any questions about this stuff before we wrap it up here today, let me know. I go live every Sunday. Next Sunday I'm going to miss because I'm going to be coming home from a gig in Wisconsin. We've been pretty good on doing every Sunday for a while now, but I do have a gig next weekend on Saturday. So coming home, so we're gonna do it on Monday the 30th. Just a little heads up, no Sunday. we'll do Monday. I think the following week is back to normal here. So I don't think I missed out on anything here. I think in summary, we learned how to build the chords off of just the C major scale. We played them in seconds. Then we played them with the full chord. Cool stuff you can do. All over just to see. It's good to know. I mean, you play them all the time. We probably play them more like this. A minor here, D minor here, or A, E minor, F major, G, A, B diminished. I'm not gonna play it like, if I played it like this, that's a half diminished, and somebody's gonna go, you're adding, that's the only seventh chord that you played in there, it's a half diminished. Half diminished, meaning there's a seventh. Regular diminished triad, the C. All right. Any questions, let me know. I'll mention briefly, because I always like to do this, about my guitar course that I have here. Essential Skills Collection for Guitar at jerrycherry.com. I have 2 videos on fretboard memorization. Shows you how to find every note quickly on the guitar neck, fretboard. Circle of Fifths goes into what we're talking about now, but in every key. Blues soloing, the cage system, all kinds of really, really cool stuff in there. There's 8 videos and 4 topics, and there's all kinds of backing tracks and charts in there. So you'll see that, a link in my description if you're interested in that. I would appreciate that, so please check that out. Thank you so much for that. So any questions, any ideas for any future videos? I go live every Sunday, and I get these ideas mainly from you guys. You want to figure out, like, you have questions. A lot of times they come from a video that I did where there might be some holes in the videos where it's like, oh, you left out this section. What does that mean right there? And so if there's anything that you felt like I left out of this today, we can go over another time. So please let me know right here in the chat while we're here, or live. I mean, not live, or if you watch this later on in the comment section. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. And what else? What else is going on, you guys? Got any good plans for the rest of the day, Sunday, or this week? I don't know. For me, it's been a slow month of June, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. Had a lot of time off, and I did the least amount. I did the most amount when I was the most busy, and I did the least amount when I was not busy. Go figure. But I just think that this whole month of June, it was kind of like a catch-up month. I was pumping out videos in May. I think I was doing like 3 a week. So I was going live, and then I was doing I was editing a video, and I was making some verticals. But for the last 4 weeks, I haven't been able to. I'm just taking care of other stuff, like stuff around the house, and kind of getting my mind right, taking care of little stuff here and there that needed to be done, some loose ends. But you got to do that every now and then, right? Guitar Wizard, so good to see you. What a great name. Give you a round of applause. Jerry, if I sign up for your website course, do I have access forever, or is it a subscription with recurring? Nope. once you sign up to my course, the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar, that's it for life. It's just a one-time fee, and it's only $10. Come on. But you sign up, and I'm constantly adding to it. Not so often lately, but it started off with 3 sections. Then I added a 4th section. And of course, if you're in the, if you have the course, you just have the extra section. So I'm constantly, thinking about adding sections to it, videos, backing tracks, graphs. But once you're in it for life. So check it out, get involved in it. And it's growing and growing, and I appreciate everyone who has gotten the course since I developed it. Chubby Checker story. All right, let's close it off on a Chubby Checker story. Of course, I don't know if you noticed, but I played with Chubby Checker for 4 years straight, from 2008 to 2012. And then I went back with him again for a month in 2016. And it really was a lot of, it was a lot of... it was a lot of like 1-4-5s, but it wasn't your grandfather's Chubby Checker or your father's Chubby Checker. It was Marshall's full on. I had a Marshall stack behind me. I was playing an SG, that SG, as a matter of fact. And, it goes back from the old school days of rock and roll, where it's like Chuck Berry started it all. Chuck Berry started it all. And in the mid 50s, right? And if you never notice his style, he's very, he's just total downstrokes. Or however he plays his. So the one thing I'll tell you is that for a lot of the songs, we do that. It's a lot of repetitive, stuff like that, where it's like. So I haven't done that in a while, and my wrist is starting to hurt. It's not the same as. Listen to the difference. I'm going up and down with this. I'm alternate stroke. Listen to the difference. From all down picks. R. Hear the difference? It's tighter. It's like punk rock. That's where punk rock got it from. Downbeats, Judas Priest, metal. Punk rock doesn't go. Punk rock is downstrokes. It's a big difference. So my point is that you're doing this off and on pretty much for the whole show, right? And sometimes your hands bleed, and at the end, for the twist, one of the last couple songs, he'll call people up and do like a dance or whatever, and dance around stage. And so you're doing this like, forever. It's just like... it's just going round and, so to speak, And my point here too is like, there are places where I had to cheat, because if I was, playing and I was tired for a second, I got lazy, like he would notice that. He'd turn around and give me the stink eye. He'd look at me because he knew he'd give me a look and he'd go down. Like, all right, my wrist is falling off, but he could hear it. Like, he knows the difference in it, right? So I had to find places where I could cheat, where I could I could relax my wrist without anybody knowing, especially him, the boss, right? So where I would do it was if I was like on the turnarounds, I would do it. So it'd be like this. Right? So that's where I would do it. That's the point of. I would find places in the turnaround, like where I go. So right there on that 5 chord, I go right there. I'd hit those down beats, but that's a place where nobody would really know this. Okay, and so pretty cool right there. So let's just see what this is all about right here. And let's see. I don't want to. Okay. All right. So let's see. I think I got rid of that. You get some weird comments right there, and we'll remove it right there, and we'll remove it. I think that's how you do it. I'm not on my own moderator right there, and see if I can do that. Bear with me. One sec. Yep, there it is, right there. I don't know if you can still see that or. My own moderator. So let's see. Okay. Well, I guess it's still there. I can't seem to get rid of this. Oh, maybe I could. Okay. Right. All right. I did what I could do with that. Any kind of spam in there. But anyway, sorry about that. And all good in the hood with that. That's one of my stories. There's a million of them. That's not really a story, but I always think about that because it's really just old school, Comes from Chuck Berry. We had a chance to play. We opened up for Chuck Berry 2 times. And I'll get into that's another story I could tell you another time. But we did open for Chuck Berry twice, and I got to hang out with him once. I played guitar. I played on his guitar through his amps with his band as Chuck Berry once. So I did his whole sound check with his guitar through his amps, and that was a night I'll never forget. Really, it was just a moment in time where it's like, wow, was not expecting to do that, and so that was a lot of fun too. So a lot of really great moments. The time we opened up for him, we played with Little Richard, got to meet him. We played with the Beach Boys twice, which reminds me of saying rest in peace to Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson wasn't in the Beach Boys, that version of them. There's always like 3 versions of the Beach Boys. The ones that we played with twice was the Mike Love version. So it was cool seeing him, and really, really cool. Great band, and I love the Beach Boys. And I'm sure all of you guys out there do, and much respect for that. And rest in peace, Brian Wilson, like I was saying. And another person we lost this week was Lou Christie, who's a great singer. Who, going back to the Chubby days, I actually hung out with Lou Christie a couple times because we played with him a few times. And he's the one that he had a famous hit called "Lightning Strikes," really high, saying he was great. And I'll tell you another story about him later on, but he was just a really cool guy. Every time I seen him, he was always, after the show, he would ask me, how was it? How did it sound? He was really particular and conscious about his singing and his performance. And I would talk to him about it, and it was because I'm the same way in a way. We think we all are. We're a little conscious of what we do and how we perform and how we sing, especially. So we had some wine a few times after a show, like in the lobby. Sit there, you'd see Lou Christie having some wine, thinking about his show, and then when I lived in Chinatown, I ran into Lou Christie one day. He didn't live there, but he was just shopping for some fish and some produce, whatever, right? And he was telling me that he had put together a show, like a radio show. So I think towards the end of his life, he was big into this radio show where he played like oldies and some old hits and songs that you probably never heard of, but he grew up with and then just enjoyed it. And he was such a great person, great soul, Lou Christie. I don't even know if I have any pictures with him, but he was a real special guy, and I really, really enjoyed every moment that I had hanging out with him. So rest in peace to Lou Christie, and condolences to his family. So thanks for spending some time here with me here today. My coffee has run out, so that means we got to go and get some coffee. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Jeffrey Boyle, Guitar Wizard, and Some Guy. And thanks for checking out the course too as well. I'm really, really into that, and it took me a while to build. Then it got busy again here in life, but I'm always thinking about new things to do with the course. And like I said, if you sign up for it, you'll never pay another dollar ever again with it. But I'm constantly adding new stuff to it. It's evolving with us. So thank all of you guys for spending some time here with me. Any questions about any of this stuff, please let me know. Thanks, Some Guy. Thank you. And Jeffrey Boyle. I met Chubby. He's from Philly area. He's from Paoli, Pennsylvania. I met Chubby and Bo Diddley show in the early 90s. Yes, he was very down to earth. That's really, really cool. Oh, man. That's fun. At a Bo Diddley show, too, right? Wow. That is really, really, really cool. Awesome. Yeah, Bo Diddley was an amazing, amazing guitar player, too, Love Bo Diddley. So really cool. Some Guy. I opened for Chubby Checker. Some Guy, you did. Really? When was that? Open for Chubby. Oh, Chubby Carrier. I opened for Chubby Carrier. Who's that? Chubby Carrier. And Zydeco guy. Okay. Yeah. I've seen some Zydeco guys before. Pretty cool. Yeah. Zydeco. Wow. That's going back to New Orleans. That's where I've seen most of my Zydeco players. So really, really, really cool. And talking about Bo Diddley, Chubby and Bo Diddley both shared a drummer, Sandy Gennaro. When I joined the Chubby Checker band in 2008, really, it was Sandy Gennaro had played with Bo Diddley for a while, for years, and he was in the Chubby band. Sandy was a great drummer, played with a lot of people as well, back in the 80s and stuff. Cyndi Lauper, her torso. Sandy Gennaro, great drummer, really cool dude. Played with Bo Diddley and Chubby together. So rocking in Philly. Yep, especially with those Eagles. Eagle fans are crazy. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. We went a little bit long here today, but you guys are the best. Keep those comments, keep those questions coming, and those requests for next Monday. All right, won't see you on Sunday, but see you on Monday. So really, really, really cool there. And let's see. We'll wrap it up here with doing this. Remember, guys, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video here on half and whole steps that are the foundation and building musical scales. Wait, let's do this one more time. If you want to see another video on the half and whole steps and why they're the fun gotta work on this. If you want to see another video on half and whole steps that are the foundation for building musical scales, much like we did today on chords, I'll put that video right up there. Love you guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.